So Deutsche Bank has been fined $630 million for failing to stop its clients from laundering money, and they're from Russia. The big fine has been imposed by regulators in the US and the UK. Now, in the past 2 years, Deutsche Bank has paid about $10 billion in fines for fixing interest rates and selling toxic mortgage-backed securities. Awful things, both of them. Mobin Nasser explains the bank's latest transgression.
Berlin's International Magic Festival. For decades, the world's best illusionists gathered here to entertain audiences with their magic. Now there's a new breed of magicians.
Can you see?
Their trademark trick, moving money. Not just a few coins, but billions of dollars. Back in 2011, Deutsche's Russian clients began short-selling stocks in the US through subsidiaries while buying the same shares in Russia, moving money out of the country, bypassing sanctions and taxes.
It's couched around being a failure against money laundering, but when you look at the wider ruling, it's much more around sort of failures in management and failures in internal systems and procedures.
Now the secret is out, and regulators in the UK and the US are fining Deutsche hundreds of millions of dollars for unacceptable failure to stop money laundering.
It seems to be just another on the long list of practices which the bank has undertaken, which has left a very bad taste in people's mouth and resulted in a long list of quite sizable fines, of course not quite the size of the recent one agreed with the US Department of Justice, but it's still a very sizable fine. You don't see for now any signs that these cases are drying up.
Did Deutsche Bank miss the trick, or was it part of it? The US Department of Justice is carrying out a criminal investigation to find out. Mobin Nasser, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, we are joined by TRT World's editor-at-large, Craig Capitas, who is in Paris as ever. Craig, this kind of sleight of hand is being described as a mirror trade. Tell us more about that.
Welcome to the sharing economy, Deutsche Bank style. Schnitzel, anyone? This is beautiful. It's real simple. You buy stock in Moscow in rubles, and then you call up your broker at Deutsche Bank in London, and you say, you sell them back at the same price you bought them from, and you launder the money out of the country. It's a shuck and jive trick. And you know, whoever said that the stock market is gambling simply never had a brokerage account at Deutsche Bank. This is remarkable, made all the more remarkable that the people who caught them here was the state of New York along with the British financial authorities.
And what's going to happen to the federal authorities? They're interested.
Yeah, they are, and up until 3 hours ago, I didn't think they were going to do anything about it because this is part of the new global economy. But as it turned out, Trump's National Trade Council boss, a fellow by the name of Peter Navarro, a few hours ago, accused Germany of currency manipulation. He went on to call the euro an implicit Deutschmark. They're not euros, they're Deutschmarks. He said that Merkel is intentionally advocating a weak euro to enhance Germany, and he baked Germany's trade surplus along with the trade surpluses that Mexico and China have against the U.S. It has caused a firestorm here. So the expectation is that the new Justice Department, if and when they get an Attorney General, is going to go full tilt boogie on Deutsche Bank.
Okay, well, you know, they've been transgressing for a couple of years, paying $10 billion in fines. I don't understand it, Craig. How comes the big guys can just pay fines and keep going on as normal? And, you know, what does it tell us about the global banking system that they're allowed to keep on like this?
Transgressing. This is wholesale racketeering that's going on here. Deutsche Bank long ago should have had a monitor placed in the bank to oversee these kinds of deals. Now they're going to have one. But my question is, who's going to appoint the monitor and who's that person going to be? You know, that's really the question going forward. How Deutsche Bank shares kind of went up a little bit today because the market felt, well, Deutsche Bank's problems are over. Well, let me tell you something, Deutsche Bank investors, your problems are only starting.
Craig Capitas, thanks for that dire warning.
More money on the cards now. Stephen's here talking business. Starting with Deutsche Bank. This is a news story, really, isn't it? I mean, it's been hit with a new fine, though, by American and British authorities, Stephen.
The German lender's been fined almost $630 million over a Russian money laundering scheme. Now, $425 million of that is coming from New York's Department of Financial Services, the rest from the UK's Financial Conduct Authority. The authorities said the bank had missed numerous opportunities to detect, investigate and stop the trades, which saw $10 billion illegally moved out of Russia over a 4-year period. Josh Vardy has the details.
Another legal dilemma for beleaguered Deutsche Bank. The German bank says it's willing to cooperate with US and UK regulators and pay over $600 million in fines for its connections to alleged Russian money laundering. New York's Department of Financial Services said the bank had been aware of a string of red flags dating back to 2011 and had had numerous opportunities to detect, investigate and stop the scheme. An investigation launched by DFS and Britain's Financial Conduct Authority uncovered evidence of so-called mirror trades at the bank between 2011 and 2015. Clients were buying securities in rubles at the bank's Moscow office, then selling them for an identical price in dollars at the London branch. In a statement, DFS Superintendent Maria Vullo said these trades lacked economic purpose and could have been used to facilitate money laundering. Deutsche Bank has faced a series of fines and penalties in recent years. Earlier this month, the bank paid over $7 billion to the US Department of Justice for its role in mis-selling mortgages, which contributed to the 2008 financial crisis.
Well, let's say that's affecting Deutsche Bank's shares in trading today. They're up actually almost 2% in Frankfurt.